Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Radoi, I'm a portrait photographer, and today we're gonna talk about Dehancer. I have been contacted by them to test the plugin. It's a film emulation plugin for DaVinci Resolve, and also to give an honest review. I am not paid, so I am free to say the good and the bad. They asked for an honest review, and that's what I'm gonna give you. Stick around because I'm also gonna show you how to use it, and at the end I will show you also their iOS app, which is basically like a film editing tool for quick edits. But yeah, more on it at the end. So let's dive into it. Dehancer is a film emulation plugin that works with DaVinci Resolve. Its goal? To bring authentic film looks and texture to your digital footage. Think of it as a toolbox for color grading with a retro vibe. With features like film stock emulations, halation, bloom, and even print profiles, Dehancer tries to replicate the feel of analog film in a digital world. But is it worth it? Let's break it down. Let's start with the positive. Dehancer is pretty intuitive for everyone that's familiar with color grading. Here is what stands out: film stocks. Dehancer offers a wide variety of film stocks from Kodak to Fuji. You can instantly switch between them and find the perfect aesthetic. Grain control. Unlike some plugins, Dehancer film grain is organic and customizable, giving a natural texture without looking fake. Halation and bloom. The halation and bloom tools are top tier. They help your highlights stand out, they make it pop, and it's easy to use. The plugin integrates easy with DaVinci Resolve, so if you're already familiar with nodes, you're good to go. And now also the downsides. Dehancer isn't cheap, especially compared to free or inbuilt Resolve tools. You'll need to weigh the costs against how often you will use it. Performance. On lower end systems, Dehancer can be demanding. Applying effects like grain and halation can slow down playback. Right, so now we're in DaVinci Resolve. I have to say this from the beginning: there is no right or wrong way on how to edit with Dehancer. I'll show you only how I would edit with it, and my way, my style, and everything like that. Hopefully you're gonna find it useful, and yeah, it's only up to you, up to your skills and creativity. So let's dive into it. First of all, what we're gonna do, let's say I'm gonna create another node. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the end. First one will be color space transform. Yes, we're gonna label it first of all CST. We're gonna try to transform this footage into a Rec 709. This footage have been shot with Sony FX3. So Sony S Gamma 3 Cine, input gamma S of 3. Output color space would be Rec 709, and then output gamma Rec 709A, because we're on a Mac. Okay, then on the last node we're gonna add the Dehancer plugin. Okay, so for the beginning, on output, on input, you have option to either use the Rec 709 that we just got now from the color space transform, or you can choose the camera, for example, and then you choose the vendor, which is going to be, let's say, Sony in this case, camera FX3, and so on and so forth, and format is going to be log. But yeah, we're gonna stick to Rec 709. From here, what I use mostly, it's already as I see chosen, it's a Kodak Vision 3 250D, and then I go straight to print, and from linear we're gonna move to Kodak 2383, which I guess, in my opinion, it looks the best. So far we already have quite an interesting looking image. Some would be happy with this already, but we can also work on, for example, I think that it's a bit it's a bit too dark, so I'll just work a tiny bit on the exposure. Okay. We can also work, because I like my colors to be a bit more saturated, let's say. We're gonna work on the color boost. Okay, this is just a bit too much. This is a good spot for me. Here at the expand, you can choose the black point and white point, basically choosing your contrast. Even though I like to have my image with a lot of contrast in it, I would highly suggest, if you're going for the film look, to not to have the image to be too contrasted. But yeah, we can play around with the black point and white point, just so you can see. To be fair, I'm pretty happy with how the contrast is in here. Maybe a tiny bit working on the white point. Yeah, I think it looks quite good. Then you can also choose, for example, if you enable this. Normally I don't work on this, but you can choose the tones of the shadows, midtones and highlights. Usually I try to avoid using those. I like to create another node and make the adjustments in that node. We're not gonna waste too much time, because if I tweak every little detail, it's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna go mostly over what I use most of the times. Grain, to be fair, I'm not a big fan of it. You have a few presetted grains, or you can either go with custom and choose all the details by yourself. But what I like to go with is the 65mm ISO 50, which is gonna be a bit less grainy. As you can see, the ISO 50, ISO 250, again ISO 50 and 250. So I'm gonna leave it at 65 ISO 50. You can add more or less. I'll just leave it like this. Okay, 65mm ISO 50. Halation, you cannot go without the halation. Also, you can customize it, or you can choose any of those presets. This one, in my opinion, I think it's a bit too strong. Actually, it's not that bad for this footage. But you can also go, you can choose the profile, and then also amplify more or less. And then we have the bloom. Okay, this one I think is just a tiny bit too strong, as you can see. In my opinion, it's a bit too strong. Let's see. So you can go as high as you want, but yeah, let's not, a little goes a long way. So let's just stick to, let's say, 10. That looks good to me. Okay, and then two more things that I would like to do actually. This will be pretty much it for me. This looks quite good already, so some people would be happy with this, and it makes your editing so much easier. I mean, it's just in one node we did so many tweaks, and I think the image looks quite good compared to how it was before. Let's say, for example, before, after, before, after. But one thing I'm gonna do more is I'm gonna add another node, and we're gonna go and adjust a bit the shadow and the highlights. Let's see, the shadows are gonna go a bit towards blue. Yeah. To be fair, highlights are quite orange-ish already, so I shouldn't touch too much on them, but let's see. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the results. And one more thing, the last node that I'm gonna do is gonna be a mask, because I want to have the subject popping. And this is how we're gonna do. Gonna choose the mask, gonna choose the subject. Let's make the feather a bit bigger, and then we're gonna track it back and forth. And now let's make the subject pop a tiny bit more. Okay. So this is without the mask, with the mask, without the mask, with the mask. It's not much, but as I said, a little goes a long way. As you can see, the playback is being a bit slowed down because of Dehancer. That's one of the downsides of it. But yeah, I mean, it saves so much time on editing, and you can get this amazing cinematic film look that everyone seems to love. So yeah, this is my process on how I edit with Dehancer. So let's have another look at the footage from the beginning. Okay. Without Dehancer. And with Dehancer. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to use the iOS app. So Dehancer also, on top of the plugin, it has an iOS app, which is basically the same thing as the plugin, but created more for some quick edits on the go. Let me show you how it's working. So basically, what I'm trying to prove here is I'm gonna use one of the most boring, uninteresting photos that you can have, which has been taken with the phone, not even with the camera. And I'm gonna show you that you can also make a boring photo look amazing in this app, even if it's on the phone. This is how I normally would edit. Also, I have the Kodak Vision 250D as my favorite profile. This is just to show you as an example of what you can do, and to prove you that even with a boring photo as this one, you can get a very good result. And then for the film, this one looks quite interesting. It's a bit too bluish in my opinion. We can tweak the colors, but this is just to show you a quick edit. So let's go to Kodak Ektachrome. That's interesting. Okay, what I'm going to do first of all, I'm not a fan of grain. I mean, yes, it's gonna add to the film look, but I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of the grain. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna lower the grain for a bit, because I like to have a bit more of a clear image. Gonna go on the halation. You can choose also the source of the halation. For this one I'm gonna go a bit higher, and then amplify the same. You can amplify or lower the effect. Gonna amplify it a bit. Okay, then we go to bloom, limit as well. Where you want, what area of the photo you'd like to be affected by the bloom, and then we go on amplify to add more or less. And yeah, this was the before, this is the after. In my opinion, that's a pretty good result. You can do even more than that, but this is just a quick one, so you can see what you can get with only an iOS app, just on the phone. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section below about the plugin and the iOS app. And also, if you want to buy any of the plans or the iOS app, don't forget you will have in the description below discount code for 10% off. Until next time, keep shooting.